Welcome back to Battalion Marching Orders. My name's Greg Bowman. Today's guest is Mason Primeau, a draft pick of the Vegas Golden Knights and assistant captain for the North Bay Battalion. And Mason, first things first, I mean, we have a date for the season right now. That's not something we had necessarily a month or two ago. Just your thoughts on knowing that you'll be able to play some OHL hockey this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's pretty exciting. I think it's been a pretty long 6 months, kind of not knowing when you're able to go back and play. And being a hockey player, that's what you want to do, and that's what your mind's on a lot. So having that ton of dates definitely important, especially for training and all that stuff. You have a goal in mind, and it's exciting, and hopefully it comes to fruition.
Take me through the moment when you found out that you'd be having a season this year. What were you doing? What was your first reaction like?
Yeah, Adam sent us an email and just said that the league was having a meeting, and we'd have a Zoom call that afternoon. So obviously, I think everybody's in the mindset that hoping it would be positive news. And then we were on the call, and he just kind of explained some of the guidelines, pretty general stuff, but it gave us a date, and obviously it's super exciting. I mean, you don't want to go much longer than the 8 months or whatever it's been without playing a hockey game. So I think we're all looking forward to it.
What was the extended off season like for you? I mean, it was the season was kind of canceled all of a sudden, and then you didn't really know when you'd be able to resume any sort of training in the meantime. Just those early stages of the pandemic, what were you getting up to?
Yeah, I mean, I think like everybody, first couple weeks, you don't really know what's going on, and it's a scary time for sure. But when you're in quarantine and you go through the season and your body's a little bit beat up, I mean, there's not much to do besides lay around and spend time with family. So for the first couple weeks, I did a bit of that, and then after that, I kind of got after training. I luckily have a pretty good home gym. It's been a great resource for me, especially in the early goings. And then after that, I work with a strength coach. He worked with our team this previous year, Peter Renzetti. So I drive out to Ajax, and I work with him 5 times a week, and I'm on the ice a few times a week. And I've pretty much been doing that since I'd say April, May. Play a bit of golf. That's about it, to be honest. I mean, can't complain.
Did you manage to figure out the golf stroke a little bit more with the extra time?
Well, I don't know. I mean, this year's my first year playing, so it took me a couple months to kind of figure it out. But unfortunately, but fortunately, I've been able to get a lot of games in because there's not much else to do. There wasn't much open, so I've definitely improved, but by no means am I exceptional yet. So hopefully I'll keep them.
It's a skill that all hockey players need, I think. Even it's just as important as the on-ice skills as the off-ice, the golfing skills there too.
No, yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people assume that hockey players are good golf players, and my first couple times golfing, I think my buddies are a bit confused as to why I was so bad. But no, it's been good. I've actually really enjoyed it, and it's nice to kind of play another sport and enjoy it. So it's been good.
Let's talk about the sport you are used to playing, and that's hockey. I mean, you're coming into your fourth season here in the OHL, third one or second full one in North Bay, third kind of overall season because of the trade. We'll get into that trade a little bit first. I want to talk about your rookie season in Guelph, though, and as a rookie, you played 60 games, which not a lot of rookies can say they did. How do you feel like that just sheer amount of experience helped you in the transition of just getting adjusted to the OHL life?
Yeah, for sure. I think, anytime you're given the opportunity to play in the life as a 16-year-old, it's a pretty cool honor. I mean, the 8 games I missed, I was hurt, so I addressed all the games I was healthy, which not many rookies say they've done. So it was a bit difficult because we did have a bit of an older team, and there was nights where I didn't see as much ice. But as a rookie, it's part of the growing pains, and I still was able to dress and get the experience, and it's something I look back at and I learned a lot from. So it was good.
What would you say the biggest thing you learned in your rookie season was?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the adjustment. I think, you go from being most guys who come in the league are top players on their minor hockey team, and the funnel continues to get smaller. So, you go from being one of the go-to guys on your minor midget team, and then, you're kind of thrown into a bigger pond and you're smaller fish. So you have to kind of figure out, what you have to do to be successful at a higher level. So just learning those things, and you definitely become mentally tougher, with receiving a little bit less ice time, and the schedule is a bit different and all that. But there's lots I took from it, and it's definitely helped me.
Midway through your second season, correct? You got traded up here to North Bay, and you had a pretty bit of a good run when you came up here too. You were able to notch 26 points in the 49 games you played, able to notch a few more in the playoffs there too. What do you attribute to that success of just being able to produce after a trade, moving to a new city and joining a new team?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is, I enjoyed my time in Guelph, but like I mentioned earlier, it was an older team, and obviously they had aspirations to, win a championship that year, and like they were older, like I said, and I don't think I necessarily fit into the plans in terms of kind of what I wanted to do with my career. So I was moved to North Bay, and Stan Butler and the coaching staff and everybody in North Bay gave me a great opportunity when I was first moved, and made me extremely comfortable. And it was a good decision for myself, and it ultimately paid off. And it was good. And I think the biggest thing was I wasn't used to seeing as much ice as what I was used to in Guelph. So that difference kind of, I think, translated into being able to produce more, and I was just enjoying playing a lot more, and it worked out well.
Yeah, it did work out well. You ended up getting you drafted a little bit a couple months after that season. How many teams were looking at you? Were you talking with scouts from teams as far as the draft? Were you expecting to be drafted? Because I mean, it was your 5th round pick. A little bit later, it's kind of tough in those positions. What was the preparation like for you?
Yeah, I mean, going into the season, I think I made it the goal that I want to get drafted, and I think that I had a good enough season to earn that opportunity. And I talked to a pretty large chunk of teams. I'd say, majority of teams within the league. And going into the draft, I had an idea kind of, where I'd land, like the range, I guess you could say. And I was fairly confident that I'd be drafted, but obviously it's stranger things have happened. You never know. And you can't count on it. So, going into the day, I was a bit nervous, but pretty confident that with my abilities that I'd hear my name called, and luckily I was. So it was a cool day for sure.
Yeah, take me through that moment when you did hear your name called. Yet another Primeau drafted to the NHL. That must have been not only a special moment for you, but your family as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, it was an extremely nerve-wracking day. I think the draft was in Vancouver, so it was out west. So the time change kind of made it difficult. I think I started at 11. The second round started at 11. So I woke up pretty early, and I think I worked out, and I was just trying to keep myself occupied. And the hours felt pretty long, but watching the draft, you definitely get antsy as it goes along. And the deeper into the draft it goes, the more nervous you tend to get. But when I heard Vegas call my name, I mean, I was ecstatic. I mean, my family was excited as well. Lots of tears, lots of hugs, and it was a really cool moment.
What was that summer like once after you got drafted? Because you get involved with a couple of events with the team, some rookie camps and whatnot. What were some of the things that you were able to learn through that experience?
Yeah, so I got a call from Vegas' player development guy probably 20 minutes after they drafted me. I set up a flight, and I actually flew out the next day to Vegas for development camp. I spent about a week there. We did some on and off ice testing, and some skills work, some scrimmages. They went through some workouts with us, and it was a cool week. Lots of seminars and stuff. So I think the biggest thing is going into NHL camps, especially as a younger guy, you just want to keep yourself and absorb everything like a sponge. And I think I did a pretty good job of doing that. And it was an awesome time. Like, Vegas is a beautiful city. I mean, the weather's amazing. The organization's great. I have nothing bad to say about them. They've been nothing but good to me. So it was really good. I mean, I enjoyed it for sure. And then in September, I went back for a rookie tournament, which was a really cool experience. Got to play against some guys who had played, full seasons in the AHL, and some guys who played NHL games as well. So you kind of measure yourself up against those guys, and helps you understand better what it takes to play at the next level.
And then last season with the battalion, I mean, it was difficult for a number of reasons too. Probably not up to the production standards that you put yourself up to. You got plus an injury, plus a coaching change, plus a pandemic coming down and towards the end of it too. I mean, where after when it's all said and done, and you look back at the season, what's going through your head with it? I mean, what kind of emotions are going around?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say last season, saying it was disappointing would be a bit of an understatement for sure. I think coming into the year, um, the group had a good amount of confidence in ourselves, and for whatever reason, we just struggled at times. And you never wanna be on a losing team. And for myself, I know, not to make excuses, but obviously injuries and the coaching change and all that kind of played into effect. But I don't think I played up to the standards that I'd put myself at. And things happen. I think the biggest thing is it's over and done with. You can't do anything about it. So just kind of put it in the rearview mirror. And I think we're gonna have a real good group coming up this year. And the coaching is great. And it'll be should be a good season. And like I said, hopefully it starts in December, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So.
Yeah, let's talk about the coaching change, because things for the team turned around a little bit once the coaching change happened and Ryan took over behind the bench. You guys were, I mean, about 6 points out of the playoffs when the season was cut short, unfortunately, there too. What were some of the differences that you noticed when Ryan took over behind the bench?
Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost, I think it's important to say that Stan was extremely good to me. I have nothing but respect for him. He was the one who traded for me, and gave me the opportunity to get drafted in the NHL. So I have nothing bad to say about him, and he's been unbelievable to me, and I still keep in touch with him. So, but when Willie took over, I think it happens where sometimes guys, for whatever reason, need a fresh voice or whatever the case may be, and he did a pretty good job. And I think as a group, we knew that we had more in us, and unfortunately it took a coaching change for that to happen. But we started to play a bit better and get some success off of it. But I think we still kind of weren't where we wanted to be, and I think next year we're really hoping to show that. So.
Yeah, and a couple of off-season additions, some young players coming in too, because you had the top pick in both drafts, as well as a couple of trades. And so a different looking team this year, man. But you're in a position where you're kind of looking at a bit more of a leadership role. You had a letter on your chest last season, and you can only assume that'll be another one there this season. How do you see yourself becoming a leader with this group now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is I'm not overly vocal. I think, the best thing you can do as a leader is to lead by example, and that starts with my play. So I think that, if I definitely step it up several notches from last season, just play my game and, help introduce the younger guys to the league, and, just be a shoulder to lean on, and, just play hard and kind of set an example. I think that that's the best way to show leadership, and on a younger team, and just in general.
We've talked about how the Primeau name is pretty synonymous with the NHL over the last couple of years. I'm curious though. I mean, growing up in a hockey family like that, with your dad playing in the NHL and your uncle playing in the NHL, like, what was the moment where you knew that you too wanted to pursue hockey?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a pretty cool situation in the sense that you grow up around the game, and I was introduced to it at a young age, and I was able to watch my uncle and dad. So obviously that's pretty cool. But I think whether I played hockey or not didn't really matter to my family, but it's something that I fell in love with, and I've enjoyed doing. So I don't think there was one particular moment, but it's just something I grew up with, and I've always enjoyed it. As it progressed, I just continue to do my best to, live up to the name, and hopefully able to play in the NHL one day. So.
Who are some players growing up, not with the last name Primeau, that you looked up to, that you wanted to maybe model your game off a little bit?
Yeah, well, recently I'm a big fan of Pierre-Luc Dubois, Charlie Coyle on Boston. Those are two guys I watch pretty closely. big 200-foot centerman and contribute on both sides of the puck. Growing up, I was a Pittsburgh fan, so obviously I like, Crosby, Malkin, that whole group. And I also like Wayne Simmons a lot. He's a winger, but I just liked his north-south game, and hard to play against, and he could finish around the net. So I think those are all guys that I've kind of watched as I've grown up.
So a big bruising centerman are you the people you're modeling your game off of? So do you expect to throw your weight around a lot out there this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important when you're big to use your size. I mean, I watch guys like Dubois and Coyle, and they're smart with how they use their size. Not even throwing hits necessarily, but just using it to their advantage in the offensive zone and the D zone, wherever it may be. I think it's important that you have to kind of realize your strengths and know what you're good at, and just model your game around that. So they do those things really well, and that's probably why I watch them.
I've got a bit of a weird question for you here, and I want to put you in a hypothetical situation. So you're a centerman, you've got to take a face-off. Would you rather have your face-off with 10 seconds left defensively in your own zone while they have the extra attacker on, so you need a defensive zone draw, or when you're down a goal with your own extra attacker on, 10 seconds left in the O zone? Which of those face-offs would you rather find yourself in?
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody's going to say the O-zone one because, you win the drawback and, you have a chance to score a goal to tie the game or go ahead, whatever the case may be. But, for myself, I think they're both they're equally important in the sense that, it's going to determine the outcome of the game. So either of those situations, I definitely find myself to the task. But I think it's pretty easy to say you'd want to be the one to maybe get an assist or, help contribute to a game tying or winning goal in the O-zone. So.
Appreciate the honesty there. And just lastly, your message to North Bay Battalion fans. You got a young team with some veteran talent, some nice dynamic scores added to there, and the stellar goalie between the pipes too. I mean, some big things could be expected out of this team. What's your message to Battalion fans who may be watching this season?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that fans of North Bay are extremely passionate, and last year probably wasn't what they wanted to see out of their team, but I think that we're on the right track. And like you said, we have a lot of talent, whether it's older guys or younger guys coming in, and we've made some moves in the off season, which is nice to see. So I think you can definitely expect a much more competitive team, and I think the will in the room will be extremely high. Guys won't want to disappoint like they did last year. So I think everybody's going to be up for the challenge, and, hopefully we reap the benefits of it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure the rest of my teammates are too.
Mason Primeau of the North Bay Battalion, thank you very much for joining us here today.
Thanks for having me.